When A History of Violence hit theaters in 2005, it was unlike anything else that year. Raw, shocking, and quietly brilliant. Directed by David Cronenberg, it was a brutal yet haunting story about identity, family, and the monsters we try to hide inside ourselves. It wasn't just a gangster film or a thriller, it was a mirror held up to the American dream, and audiences couldn't look away. 2 decades later, the cast who brought that psychological storm to life have traveled through their own transformations, facing fame, reinvention, and, in true Cronenberg fashion, the dualities of Hollywood itself. Back then, Viggo Mortensen was the man. Coming off his unforgettable run as Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings, he was riding high as one of cinema's most respected leading men. But A History of Violence was something else entirely. Dark, intimate, and dangerously quiet. As Tom Stall, the small-town family man hiding a bloody past, Viggo delivered one of his most nuanced performances, earning his first Oscar nomination. Suddenly, he wasn't just the noble warrior from Middle-earth, he was a serious actor, the kind critics couldn't stop talking about. Over the years, Viggo built a reputation for complete creative control. He turned down countless blockbusters, choosing art over commerce. From Eastern Promises to Captain Fantastic, he carved his own lane. Intense, poetic, a little unpredictable. By 2025, he's in his mid-60s and still just as magnetic. He recently directed and starred in a Western drama that premiered at Cannes. And guess what? Critics are calling it a career triumph. Off-screen, he remains fiercely private, splitting his time between Spain and Argentina with his longtime partner, actress Ariadna Gil. Viggo Mortensen doesn't chase Hollywood anymore. He is Hollywood's conscience, thoughtful, mysterious, and timeless. And where there's Viggo's quiet intensity, there's Maria Bello's fierce fire. As Edie Stall, the wife who discovers her husband isn't who she thought he was, Bello gave a performance that burned with anger and heartbreak. In 2005, she was already respected for films like The Cooler and Coyote Ugly. But A History of Violence made her a powerhouse, fearless, raw, and completely unfiltered. In the years that followed, Bello continued to prove her range, from Prisoners to NCIS. But while her career thrived, her personal life took center stage in the best way possible. In 2013, she publicly came out as part of the LGBTQ+ community, becoming a champion for self-acceptance and representation in Hollywood. Fast forward to 2025, and Maria is living joyfully and boldly. She's married to French chef Dominique Crenn, and the two are considered one of Hollywood's most inspiring couples. Both outspoken, both trailblazing, both thriving. Maria's still acting, but she's also producing and writing, determined to tell more stories about women who break the rules. From Bello's emotional fire, we move to the chilling calm of Ed Harris, the man who played Carl Fogarty, the villain who shows up to expose Tom Stall's bloody past. Harris was already a living legend in 2005, known for Apollo 13, Pollock, and The Truman Show. But A History of Violence let him dive deep into menace, that quiet, unnerving kind that lingers long after the credits roll. In the 2 decades since, Harris has continued to dominate both film and television. His versatility, from Westworld's Cryptic Man in the Black to his acclaimed stage work, has kept him in constant demand. In 2025, he's 74 and still unstoppable. Just this year, he directed a stage revival in New York and earned rave reviews for a new indie drama. And those piercing blue eyes? Still just as intense. Ed Harris never needed reinvention. He's been timeless from day one. And where there's Harris's fear, there's William Hurt's tragedy. His role as Richie Cusack, Tom's estranged brother and mob boss, was a masterclass in restrained menace. A small role, but one that earned him an Oscar nomination. Hurt had long been one of the finest actors of his generation. Brilliant, complex, and often misunderstood. After A History of Violence, he kept working steadily in everything from Into the Wild to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where he played General Thaddeus Ross. But his later years were marked by both acclaim and controversy, including past allegations of abuse that resurfaced in the 2010s. Despite the complicated legacy, there's no denying his influence on American cinema. Hurt passed away in 2022 at the age of 71, leaving behind a filmography that's equal parts brilliance and darkness, much like the characters he played. Then there's Ashton Holmes, the young actor who played Jack Stall, Tom's son. In 2005, he was the fresh face among giants, and his performance was both vulnerable and sharp. Critics predicted big things, but Hollywood can be unpredictable. Ashton went on to steady work in television, Revenge, The Pacific, Nikita, carving out a quiet, consistent career.
By 2025, he shifted behind the camera, focusing on writing and producing indie projects. He's not in the spotlight much, but he's part of the new creative wave of actors who've evolved into storytellers. It's fitting. In a movie about family secrets and hidden lives, Holmes found his own way to create without fanfare. And rounding out this powerhouse cast is none other than the film's director, David Cronenberg, the master of cinematic unease. A History of Violence marked a turning point for him. Known for his visceral body horror style, Cronenberg surprised critics with restraint, trading grotesque visuals for psychological depth. It paid off. The movie became one of his most acclaimed works, earning Oscar nominations and forever changing how audiences viewed him. In the years that followed, he continued pushing boundaries with Eastern Promises, Cosmopolis, and Crimes of the Future. Even at 81, Cronenberg remains a force of nature, bold, cerebral, and completely unafraid of controversy. His recent film, The Shrouded Mind, just premiered at Venice and is already dividing critics, which is exactly how Cronenberg likes it. 2 decades later, A History of Violence stands as more than just a neo-noir thriller. It's a metaphor for its cast's own journeys. Viggo Mortensen found peace and artistry, Maria Bello found love and truth, Ed Harris found longevity through mastery, Ashton Holmes found meaning behind the scenes, and Cronenberg? He found a way to make chaos elegant. Each of them, in their own way, faced their darkness and turned it into something powerful. Because if A History of Violence taught us anything, it's that what we bury never truly disappears. It just evolves. And if you love seeing how your favorite actors evolve too, through fame, failure, reinvention, and redemption, drop your thoughts below. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because we've got more then and now deep dives on the stars who turned their own histories into legends.